Nicole from Nastasia.com. Today I'm with my daughter and her friends.
Hi!
And we're going to show you arm knitting as well as finger knitting. For your first time, I recommend 2, 3, or even 4 strands of super bulky weight yarn held together. You can even make your own thick yarn by using the finger knitting method in the second half of this video. To start, hold the yarn in the palm of your hand. Wrap it around and push it underneath. Pull the loop through. This is a slip knot. Insert your hand into the loop. Grab the yarn and pull it through the loop. Insert your hand into the new loop. Repeat this process again, and one more time. You have now made 4 chains. Now we need to cast on loops onto our hands. Put your hand into the loop. Take your pointer finger and put it through the hole next to your loop. Use your finger to hook and pull this loop through. Put this new loop on your hand. Stick your finger into the next hole. Hook the yarn with your finger, then pull it through. Put this new loop on your hand or wrist. Then stick your finger into the last hole, hook, and pull through. You've just completed casting on the first set of loops. Now on to the next row. Grab the yarn with your thumb and fingers, then with your other hand, grab the loop closest to that hand and pull it off. Now, slide this new loop onto your free hand. Grab the yarn again, pull the next loop off, then put this new loop onto your other hand. Grab the yarn again, pull off the next loop, and put the new loop onto your other hand. Try not to grab that tail end we started with like I have a tendency to accidentally do. Grab the correct yarn strand, pull off the remaining loop, then put the new loop onto the other hand. It's not going to look like much yet, but it will soon. Next row now. Grab the yarn strand, pull off the loop, then insert the new loop onto your hand. Repeat this process through the entire row. Remember, if anything is too fast or too slow for you, be sure to hit the pause button. Then rewind or fast forward the video as many times as needed. We've completed this row, and you are going to start seeing the knitted stitches that look like V's appearing now. The next row is pretty much the same thing as we did before. The first several times your work might not look so good. That's okay. As you get familiar with it, the stitches will get more consistent and look very nice. I'll show you this process one more time. By the way, if you want to make a blanket, just cast on something like 16 loops instead of the 4 we did for this scarf. And for this scarf, keep repeating this process until you are satisfied with the size. When you are finished, it is time to take off or cast off the loops. Grab the yarn, form a new loop, but this time take off 2 loops. Take the new loop and put it underneath the first loop. Create a new loop. Then put it underneath the older loop. Create another new loop, then put it underneath the older loop. Cut about 6 inches from your loop's end, then pull it through. I like to take that end and make a little knot in the space next to it just so it doesn't come undone. If you are making an infinity scarf cowl, you can take your starting and ending ends and knot them together. Now let's check on the girls. Sasha, how did you do?
Great.
Mia, how did you do?
I did great too.
Sarah, how did you do?
Not so good. I think I better try finger knitting.
You can use the same bulky weight yarn for finger knitting, or you can use a smaller size yarn as well. Finger knitting is great for kids, especially those who aren't quite ready for real knitting needles just yet. To start, put the yarn in the palm of your hand, then weave the yarn between your fingers like this. And we'll go back around as well. You might need to pause this video a few times to see if your weaving matches mine. At this point, I have 2 strands on each finger. Now, starting at the pinky, I'm going to take that bottom strand and lift it over the top strand and take it off my finger. You might want to push these strands down a bit before we start the next section. Now, take your yarn strand and start around that pointer finger. Go in between your fingers like we did before. Back around that pinky and towards the pointer finger. Now that there are 2 strands on each finger, it is time to take them off again. Push those strands down again. Repeat this weaving in and out and taking the loops off over and over again until you are satisfied with the length of your item. This one is a nice bracelet size. To finish, we'll remove the loops carefully. Take off this loop and put it on this finger. Pull the bottom loop over the top and off the finger. Next, take this loop and put it on the next finger. Pull the bottom loop over the top and off the finger. Repeat this process for the last finger. Now, cut your yarn about 6 inches from the loop and push it through the loop. Pull it tightly to knot it. Now, take the 2 ends and tie and knot them together. Once knotted tightly, cut your yarn.
We did it!
If you want to make an infinity cowl, make your finger knitted cord much longer. Then, tie and knot the ends together. Then, wrap it around your model. Or you can wrap it around a mannequin or other item. Carefully pinch it together and take it off. Then use those 2 yarn strands to encase the loops in that position. Tie and knot it sufficiently. This extra knotting helps keep the cowl's shape permanently. I hope this video has helped you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my website at nastasia.com for more tips and tricks on creative, self-sufficient living.